Welcome to Tales from College Football. This season I'll be pondering college football what-ifs, where we'll take glimpses into alternate realities and explore how the world of college football might have unfolded differently. I'm your host, Brandon Peterson. Unprecedented times. We heard this a lot in 2020. Shutdowns, remote learning, working from home. Our lives were temporarily put on hold from COVID-19. As autumn came closer and closer, college football fans started to wonder if there would even be a college football season. In this episode's What If world, every conference and team decided to shut things down for the year. Well, all except a few. This week, we will explore what if only military academies played college football in 2020. In order to get their institutions, governing bodies, and decision makers on board, there would have to be a few ground rules. Only student body and staff were allowed to attend games in person. Each team would play each other once, with a week off in between for preventative measures. One team would have a bye each week. The season would be a temporary conference of teams consisting of Air Force, Army, the Citadel, Navy, and Virginia Military Institute, a band of FCS and FBS military academies. Similar to times of global conflict and war, when Army and Navy dominated the college football landscape, these teams would rise to the occasion, giving our nation a chance to take their minds away from their troubles. They played for the love of the game and the love of their teammates, for the American people, and for a chance at the coveted CIC trophy. Yes, it was agreed on by Army, Navy, and Air Force. All 5 of these schools would have the opportunity to win the trophy this year. The games would be broadcasted over the radio and streamed by the universities. Let's take a look and see how this season would unfold. Week 1, we have Army beating the Citadel 17-3. Army would be forcing 2 turnovers and having a big game by Tyrell Robinson rushing. Air Force would win over VMI 31-14. Reese Udinsky was impressive, but Hazik Daniels of Air Force had 150 yards rushing and passing and led the way to the big victory. During week 1, Navy would have the bye week. 2 weeks later, when we get on to quote-unquote week 2, Air Force would lose to Army 10-13. It'd be a defensive battle. Hazik Daniels connects with Brandon Lewis to make it a 3-point game, but a heavy dose of Jacoby Buchanan would close the game for the Black Knights. Navy would be beating the Citadel in Navy's season opener 17-0. Dalen Morris would score 2 touchdowns through the air to Ryan Mitchell and Michael Cooper. VMI would have the bye week. Moving on to week 3, Army wins big 34-17 over VMI. Christian Anderson from Army would rush for over 100 yards, and John Radigan makes stops all over the field, most of them behind the line of scrimmage. In another lopsided score, we have Air Force beating Navy 27-0. Navy's first real test went off the rails early with turnovers, and Air Force was balanced through the air and on the ground, and spread the ball around to 3 different players that all rushed for a touchdown. The Citadel would have the bye week. Moving on to week 4, Air Force wins big again, this time over the Citadel, 28-0. Air Force defense with another shutout held Citadel to 37 total yards. Fullback Brad Roberts carried the load on the ground and scored 2 rushing touchdowns for the Falcons. Here's kind of a game that would surprise many spectators. VMI beats Navy 17-14. After a disappointing loss to Falcons, Navy would continue to struggle to get anything going, and while Diego Figo did everything he possibly could to stop VMI's defense in the middle of the field, Reese Udinsky from VMI had 2 key long completions for touchdowns, allowing them to sneak away with the win against Navy. Week 4's bye week would be possessed by Army. Week 5, we have a great matchup here between VMI and the Citadel, and VMI would beat the Citadel 24-21. VMI controlled the air and did just enough to stop Brandon Rainey running his masterful triple option attack for the Citadel. Army would defeat Navy 13-10 in America's game, and Sandon McCoy and Tyrell Robinson ran for big gains, while Jacoby Buchanan punched it in for the final score to extend their lead. Air Force would have a bye week for Week 5. This would leave our final standings as such. The Citadel finished 0-4, Navy finished 1-3, VMI finished 2-2, Air Force finished 3-1, and Army would finish undefeated 4-0. Army would be awarded the Commander-in-Chief Trophy. What they did not expect was to have the AP and coaches cast votes for a 2020 national champion and major award winners. Army was awarded the National Championship Trophy, with Jeff Monken being Coach of the Year. The Walter Camp Award was given to John Radigan at Army. The Maxwell Award was given to Reese Udinsky from VMI, and the Heisman Trophy was awarded to Hazik Daniels. Even though this crazy season had winners and losers, all 5 teams were full of heroes who saved the game of college football and our sanity by giving us all something to cheer about as we waited for better times ahead. Thanks for listening to Tales from College Football with your host, Brand Peterson. Tune in every other week as new what-ifs will be discussed from our favorite sport. Be sure to reach out and share your thoughts and ideas with me on X, Instagram, Twitter, Threads, and TikTok at Code Peterson. You can also check out my website, codepeterson.com.